Alright, so now that we're in the Windows, well, we're in Fruity Loops, let me give you a short preview of how these vocals are gonna sound. Somebody call the police, eh. Somebody call the police, eh. Shawty fi call me papa, she saying it's only for me. Somebody call the police, eh. Somebody call the police, eh. Shawty fi call me papa, she saying it's only for me. She danger. Now that's how they sound with no processing or any mixing on them, and this is how they are going to sound once some mixing goes into it, and we've basically processed majority of the mix. This is how it's gonna sound. Somebody call the police, eh. Somebody call the police, eh. Shawty fi call me papa, she saying it's only for me. Somebody call the police, eh. Somebody call the police, eh. Shawty fi call me papa, she saying it's only for me. So majority of the other stuff are inactive right now. So I switched off the drums, I switched off the music, all the processing that was done on that, just so that we can focus a bit more on the the vocals. Right. So this is how we're gonna go into it first and foremost. We first started off by, I'm gonna switch all the plugins off. We first started off by going into the microphone modeling more than anything else. So we used the Antares mic mod. We recorded on the AKG Perception 120, and then I was emulating the Newman U47, as you can see. So I did tube saturation at 15 around there, and just to get that Newman U47 sound. So that's where we started, and then this is how it sounds. Somebody call the police, somebody call the police, Shawty fi call me papa, she saying it's only for me. Somebody. So that's how it sounded. I'm gonna switch off the FX, which is the delays, the reverbs, the depth stuff, just so we can focus a bit more on how the vocals sound. So with just the mic mod on, that's how everything sounds currently. Then we went into the Slate Digital Virtual Mix Rack. What I did here was emulate a preamp that the vocal was going into using the virtual channel. So we did the RC tube, we drove it up to 12, and we did full input output. So I made sure that whatever's coming out is whatever the sound is produced in the virtual channel, and then it goes into the FGN Brit EQ. I didn't do any EQing on it except for some high pass and also doing some drive into it. Then I did a bit of some EQ using the high lift, the custom series. I used the slick button here, and then I turned that up a bit just so we can get a bit of that top end, as well as some punchiness, the low lift. I don't know which EQ this is modeling, to be quite honest. I just know it sounds great. Yes, I know that the FGN is probably modeling a Neve. So this is how everything sounds right now. Somebody call the police, somebody call the police, Shawty fi call me papa, she saying it's only for me. So far it sounds a lot more cleaner, and there's a lot more energy and presence. Then we went into some we auto-tuned, pitch corrected. I didn't do anything too hectic like go in and move around some notes. No, we just put it at a scale of C, a scale of natural minor basically, and a key of C, and then the range was in alto, in this house. Somebody call the police, somebody call the police, Shawty fi call me papa, she said. After that, we did a little bit of denoising to take away some of the room noise using the NS1. We really went up there. We weren't too scared. We did it up to 10. This is how it sounds. Somebody call the police, somebody call the police, Shawty fi call me papa, she saying it's only for me. And then from there, what we did was we went into some de-essing. So that de-ess was just to take some of the S's off, to clean it up a bit more. So this is how it sounds with the de-ess on. Somebody call the police. As you can hear, it's really going into the S's, like heavily so. like it sounds darker now. So that's just for my own comfort in the end, to know that there's no harsh frequencies that are being dialed more than they should be. Right after that, we did some EQing, which went into the CLA 76 and the CLA 2A. So I'm gonna put both of these here. We're gonna start with this is how it sounds with it on. Somebody go to police. Somebody go. As you can hear, it brought it out and like put it into our faces. With the CLA 76, what I was doing mostly was crushing the vocals, and then with the 2A, I was bringing the vocals back out. I brought some life into them and also still crushed them a bit more, but they came out a lot more. Then we go into some EQing. We use the Pro Q3 for cleaning up. As you can tell, I took some in the lower range and a lot in the high mids. So this is how it sounds. The analyzer's off just so I can use my ears more while mixing instead of what I'm seeing. So yes. And then from there we went into the Pewtech EQ. I'm sure we were bringing in some low end as well as some mid range. This is how it sounds. Somebody go to police. Somebody go to because I think the reason I brought in a lot of low end was because earlier on with the high pass as well as on the Pro Q3, I took out a lot of, not too much low end, but I just took it out in a place where it was more dominant. And then we went into the last compressor, which was a SSL comp mono. Somebody go to police. Somebody go to police. Shawty call me papa, she saying it's only for me. And basically that's how the vocals sound. So I didn't go through everything in detail because a lot of the moves were more intuitive. So in the beginning, what I was doing was emulating. So I went into a U47, into sort of like a preamp and a more high range EQ like the Neve. Then I added in a bit more of EQ with the FG lift, and then majority of the rest of the stuff was more subtractive of cleaning up. Then the compression came in and brought everything else out in terms of like the color and how everything else sounded. And then I cleaned up some more with the Q3 as well as brought in some more in terms of mid-range and low end with the Pewtech as well as the SSL compressor. This all then goes into my lead bus, my lead vocal bus, where the one thing that we're going into is a Q10 equalizer that is going to turn down a lot of what the yucky stuff after the high range. I learned this trick from an engineer called Lutando Pilela. He taught me this. It's also more of an intuitive thing. I liked how it sounded, so I kept it in. Then it goes into a CLA vocals where there's a boost in the bass for preset lower, treble for bites, and a bit of compression for push. And in terms of stereo imaging, I did the wide here. I did the white here. Right after that, it goes into a decapitator. Currently, my decapitator is not working, so I can't really show what is happening in there. And then the Soothe 2 is off. That was also for a lot of the what we would call the high end. Yes. So this is how everything sounds, and then it goes into the effects. The effects, which is a slap, a reverb, and a delay. So the delay is going ping pong left and right using the brower motion. There's a flanger on it and reverb again. So I'm using the H delay. And then I put the brow motion, I just put it on and left it and it started moving, and I liked how it sounded intuitively. And then I put some reverb on it just to put it into a space. The reverb on this vocal is from a Fruity Reverb 2, which is a smaller room but has a lot more reflections, which worked specifically for this record. Right after that, we have a slap delay, which is probably just one of the shorter delays, which you feel more than you hear. Yeah, so that's the basics of how to get like a Lucky Day type effect where a vocal has a lot of energy, you know. But you thought it was over? No, we are not done. I'm kidding, we are. But technically these are the approaches you would use. Also with the video right now, I'm just testing if the YouTube thing works. If you guys want more in depth where I go in even more, but these bite sizes I feel like will work very, very well. in terms of going in, but you are feel free to DM me on Instagram, hit me up on email, and I'll also put my phone.
Love in the backseat of your Benz. Say I talk a lot, show you now what's in my head.